3K is not good.
Oh, K cube.
Cool.
K cube.
Yeah.
No, it's probably. Yeah. Guys, how are you doing?
Uncle, we are well.
We are here. God is
Yes.
good.
Both of you are in African batik wear.
Yeah.
Very good.
That's what it should be.
That's what it ought to be, man.
Support our own.
Yes.
Patronize our own.
Every day.
Every day, all day. And thank you to the person who moved the truck. The truck I spoke about yesterday.
Yeah.
It has been moved.
You are becoming powerful. Please, is
Is
there
this-
something
is
else that
this-
needs to be fixed in Ghana? Please say it now.
Okay.
What else?
Something that needs to be fixed. Today is July 30.
What needs to be fixed?
About if today is July 30, end of month, people need things to be fixed for them.
Ah,
Especially public sector workers
That's
and private sector
That's a very
workers.
sensitive issue. Let's just enter the papers immediately.
Okay. Daily Graphic. Make asset declaration public. That's Chairman Sabunsu saying this. And President cuts sword for Tamale and Yendi water projects. Also, 5 more arrested over Kafaba lynching. KGL Technology gets online lottery operation license. And you can find more information about the final phase of the voters register compilation.
I will start today from the center spread of the Ghanaian Times. Parliament approves over 11.8 billion Ghana cedi supplementary budget. Now, in this story, the minister gives a breakdown of how we spent money on the feeding, the 54 million Ghana cedis. Now, on the front page, Supreme Court strikes out the Melevo case. Keep Ghana focused on COVID-19 as election 2020 approaches. Some Jonah appeals to the media. And Parliament approves 11.8 billion supplementary budget.
Daily Guide. Mahama brother fights Amidu with UK lawyers. Kafaba victim recounts ordeal. Domelevel Crow case back on. KGL license for online gaming. Injunction against acting AG struck out. And court convicts 4 of contempt.
Oforiata accounts for 54 million Ghana cedi COVID-19 chop money. This is the Chronicle. $253 million water projects begin in Tamale and Yendi. And you are fed up with Domelevo. Is he a baby? This is the board chair asking.
All right, the Daily Statesman. $253 million water projects for Yendi and Tamale. President Akufo-Addo fulfills campaign promise. And don't be used for mayhem. That's the Sports and Youth Minister, Isaac Asiama, charging the youth. KGL Technology gets NLA nod to operate digital lottery projects.
Speak the truth. Kwesi Edu Des Rawlings. This is the front page of the new Crusading Guide. Court rules out chieftaincy status case in favor of Mahia Zongo chief. Magdan donates 3 machines to the 37 military hospital to help with managing kidney cases. And court crushes UEW pro-VC elections.
Right, the Business and Financial Times. Jobs and livelihoods hinge on diligent implementation of the CARES program. And here's an interesting survey. 2 out of every 5 Ghanaians are poor. Yes.
It is terrible.
It is terrible. President cuts sword for Tamale Water Project, and post-COVID-19 economy's growth rate is below potential.
COVID-19 initiative splendid. This is the TUC, commits to help government implement the program. This is the front page of the Business Finder. And the Tamale Water Project and related matters are also on the front page, as well as Magdan's donation.
All right.
Let me take you to some more headlines here before you come in the papers. CityNewsroom.com. Isaac Adongo accuses government of massaging Ghana's fiscal deficit figures. Also, my support for Muntie 3, not an endorsement. This is Professor Opoku Ajiman. EC suspends registration on Friday over Eid, and Parliament approves government's 11.8 billion cedi supplementary budget. If you go to citybusinessnews.com, Statistical Service Multidimensional Poverty Index report paints gloomy picture of poverty levels in this country. Also, fossil fuel industry in survival mode according to IES, and Newmont Ghana signs MOU with KCCR to offer 3 million Ghana cedi support. If you go to myjoyonline.com, police arrest 5 more in lynching of 19-year-old woman at Kafaba. Meanwhile, Audit Service Board chair justifies change of locks at the Melevo's office. Meanwhile, 7 more dead as Ghana records 736 new COVID-19 cases. And then Ghanaian lady receives 100 lashes for allegedly fornicating in Saudi Arabia. Charlie, this is our world. If you go to Star, NDC reacts to Baumia with 60 achievements of Mahama. Meanwhile, JB murder, judge wants lawyer over continuous absence. And Parliament wants minimum academic qualification for MPs. How about that? If you go to Ghana News Agency, GJ announces 2019 award categories. First Lady launches MBSSI and Mastercard Foundation Young Africa Works initiative, and the voters will judge us by our records. This is Baumia. If you move to BBC, Florida to close testing centers as storm nears, and CNN says Congress grilled the CEO of Amazon, Apple, Facebook, and Google. Here are the big takeaways. These are the big four companies in the technology world. Let's start locally, gentlemen and lady.
All right. Well, you know how they call us the fourth estate of the realm,
Yes.
the fourth arm of government, etc. That's we in the media.
Yep.
Sam Jonah has a message for us.
What is he
This is
saying?
in the center spread of the Daily Graphic. He says that we have a big role to play in maintaining peace in this year's election. The executive chairman of Jonah Capital, Mr. Sam Jonah, has urged the media to brace themselves in the coverage of the December 2020 general election in the wake of COVID-19. He also asked them to use the power they wield responsibly to ensure that the thriving peace and stability of the country was not compromised in their coverage of the electioneering. He was speaking at the launch of the 25th Ghana Journalists Association Awards in Ghana yesterday, and he further charged journalists to be fair and objective in the discharge of their duties, adding, in carrying out your work, you should ensure that you advance understanding among political parties and the people.
Okay.
Ensure integrity, goodwill, and peace.
All right. I think he was speaking at the launch of the award, as you said, and
GJ,
just to give you that on GNA, GJ has announced their 2019 awards category, and this was said by the vice president of the association. Now let's get into other running
I
stories.
want to go to the budget.
All right.
Because the supplementary budget has been approved by Parliament. 11.8 billion Ghana cedis approved.
Fantastic.
Now, the story says Parliament has approved the mid-year review of the 2020 budget statement and economic policy of the government, giving the finance minister the green light to spend the sum of 11.8 billion cedis. Now, the approval of the supplementary estimate presented to Parliament last week by the finance minister was preceded by a debate between the majority and minority leaders. Now, the minority leader, taking his turn, described the 2021-2023 100 billion Ghana cedi coronavirus alleviation and revitalization of enterprise support program as a manifesto promise. Sorry. Then he went on to contractors. He said, despite claims by the finance minister to pay contractors 2.2 billion Ghana cedis in the year under review, arrears clearance in the budget appendix indicated that only 730 million Ghana cedis has been paid, meaning contractors were in distress because of the delays. Now, on the part of the majority leader, he declared the government as better managers of the economy and charged Ghanaians to have trust in the Nanado-led government. Now, more on this budget. You remember the 54 million Ghana cedi COVID-19 chop money?
For food.
Yes.
Yes. Now, Mr. Foriata has broken it down, and he did that in Parliament.
Okay.
Now, he indicated that the government budgeted an estimated 40 million Ghana cedis to provide hot meals to the vulnerable at 5 cedis per pack. Out of this, 12 million was spent on the provision of hot meals, which included 150,000 beneficiaries, cost of transportation, distribution, and other operational costs.
Okay.
Aside that, 12 million Ghana cedis out of the 42 million was spent on uncooked food items, Mr. Foriata said. These two amounts put together brought the money spent on hot meals to 54 million cedis, as stated in the budget. And he went on to say that it's unfortunate that the impression has been created that the total amount of $54 million was used for only hot meals during the 3 weeks lockdown.
Was not okay.
Now, on the 11 billion Ghana cedis, he said that money included the 1.84 billion approved in March by Parliament for emergency COVID-19 related expenses. And on the hospitals, he said 600 million Ghana cedis of the 1.3 billion Ghana cedis would be used for the mobilization and construction of district hospitals,
Okay.
also known as Agenda 111.
Let me remain with the budget and give you some angle. Isaac Adonko accused government of massaging Ghana's fiscal deficit figures. MP for Bogatanga Central has accused the government of understating the country's fiscal deficit during the presentation of the media budget review. Mr. Adongo took on government, insisting that the finance minister's 2020 deficit projected for 11.4% is not correct. According to him, the deficit is rather 15.6%, because the figure we are looking for is not 44 billion but 56 billion cedis in total. That's the size of the deficit. And he was quoting aspects of the budget statement on Point of View yesterday. Now, Kokwe, let me come back to you
Okay.
and give me what you have in the guide.
All right, continuing with the story of witches being persecuted, Kafaba victim recounts ordeal. Now, we heard about the ordeal of Madame Ikuya Dente, but here's another victim speaking out. She actually survived.
Okay.
Madame Hawa Yakubu, 69, one of the 17 old women reserved for lynching on the orders of a so-called soothsayer called
Same guy?
Same person.
Okay.
Yes, a so-called soothsayer called Hajia Filipina. So this Hajia Filipina is actually famous for doing this.
Okay.
This is her business.
Wow.
She's recounting her ordeal. Hawa Yakubu was tortured. Fortunately, she was able to survive the ordeal. However, her colleague, Ikuya Dente, could not survive the dastardly act at Kafaba in East Gonja. The lynching of 19-year-old Ikuya Dente has sparked national outrage. Almost every person who matters in the country has condemned the illegal action. But Hawa Yakubu says she was tortured by Hajia Filipina and her gang. She almost died. She had to be admitted to the Salaga government hospital. According to her, she was at home that day. Hajia Filipina and her gang came to the house to forcibly remove her because she had been mentioned by the soothsayer as a witch. She says she was about to have a bath, but they refused to allow her to shower. They dragged her out of the house as she was in tears. She said they started caning and hitting her with objects. She cried and begged them and said she wasn't a witch, but she sensed that she might die as a result of the incessant beating. So she pretended that she was a witch so they would stop the physical attacks.
Wow.
Yeah, she had to do that to save her own life.
Meanwhile, police have arrested 5 suspects. More people believed to have taken part in the lynching. Now, the arrests were made by a special team of police personnel dispatched from Accra, handed over to the CID of Savannah Police Regional Commander Dalmongo. They are to be arraigned this week. Now, in an interview with Citi News, son of the late Ikuya Dente, Dominic Mahama, was happy with the latest arrest, said the family is still demanding justice for their mother. Earlier in the week, the chief of Kafaba, Zakaria Yahya, was also arrested. So that's the latest development there. Now, let me go to Muntie 3 because the flag bearer running mate of the NDC, Professor Jana Hukajimai, has been in the central region to campaign, and she has defended the support for the infamous Muntie 3, who were jailed for contempt of court after they threatened the lives of some justices of the Supreme Court in 2016. Professor Upokwajiman said her signing of the petition for the pardon of the convicts was not an endorsement of their actions. Now, critics view the support of the convicts who attacked the judiciary as a low point of the Mahama administration and some of its members, especially the women members. But speaking on a local station in the central region, Professor Upokwajiman maintained that the Mahama administration acted within the remit of the law. And she was basically saying that the case was not tampered with. The court process was allowed to continue to its conclusion. And basically, they were asking for clemency and not to reverse what had happened. Now, I wanted you to go to the poverty story you read. You said that 2 out of 5 people are poor.
Yes.
I have something here to give more meat to what you read. So
All
just
right.
give me some angles to that.
It's on the front page of the Business and Financial Times. 2 out of every 5 Ghanaians are poor. For every 5 Ghanaians, 2 of them are identified as multidimensionally poor, meaning more than 45% of the country's population are affected by multiple types of poverty.
Wow.
This is a survey from the Ghana Statistical Service, and you can read more on page 2. Multidimensional poverty considers the many overlapping deprivations that poor people experience.
Wow.
The Multidimensional Poverty Report, which gathered information from 14,009 households and 59,864 individuals, shows that multidimensional poverty headcount ratio is between 43.7 and 47.5% of the population. Again, the intensity of poverty, which reflects the share of deprivations each poor person experiences on average, is 51%. This means the poor are disadvantaged in 6 or more of the following 12 indicators: electricity, water, housing, assets, overcrowding, cooking fuel, sanitation, school attendance, school attainment, school lag, nutrition, and health insurance. All right, I'm sure
Now,
we'll go into more
the
detail.
northern region had the highest rate of multidimensional poverty, with every 8 out of 10 people being multidimensionally poor, followed by the upper east region with close to 7 out of every 10 persons multidimensionally poor. So that's something for us to think about, Kojo.
Okay, let me take you to Aboso Kai. Spare parts dealers have closed down shops of foreigners. Yes, and it's in the Ghanaian Times. The story says that Aboso Kai Spare Parts Dealers Association has vowed to clamp down on foreigners operating illegally in the retail business in the country. Addressing the press yesterday in Accra, the PRO of the association, Mr. Francis Boateng, lamented that over the years, governments have failed to find any lasting solution for them. And Mr. Boateng indicated that the association over the years has anticipated the enforcement of the GIPC law. Now, Mr. Boateng stated the association has therefore taken it upon themselves to implement the law, since the various institutions, including the National Security, the police, as well as GIPC, have failed to ensure the implementation of the law.
Now, let me take you to the northern region. Akufo-Addo cuts out for $30 million Yendi water supply project. He's still in the northern part of the country. Now, this is in fulfillment of a pledge he made to the Yana Muhammad Abubakari, the second at the 2019 Damba Festival. Remember the one he wore yellow? Now, the water supply project being financed by a $30 million facility from India Exim Bank is aimed at providing the people of Yendi and environs with 15,000 cubic meters of water daily to meet the water demands from now till 2040.
Yep.
And the president cut the sword yesterday, and communities earmarked include Yendi, Gani, Sambu, Adobo, Sokoli, Bungbalaga.
Hey, Bernard.
Yeah, Bungbalaga and Kuga. Now, let's go to voter registration. A couple of quick things. So we are told the EC has finally suspended registration on Friday. I think they forgot that it would be a holiday, and now they've made that correction. EC says it will not undertake voter registration on Friday, July 31, captured in a press statement by the EC. Now, don't forget that Friday is a holiday, Eid al-Adha, and so EC says the decision was taken based on a number of considerations, including the fact that Friday is the Eid celebration. Government has declared it a public holiday. Now, two stories from the regions in terms of registration. Ashanti Region Police investigate confrontation between armed civilian and officer. This is actually a trending video. Police in Ashanti Region say they are investigating the incident in which a man is seen wielding a firearm during a confrontation with a police officer. The incident was captured on video, and soldiers were seen trying to calm the situation. All the uniformed persons in the video are non-officers who are presently stationed in the Ashanti Region where the incident took place. They all reported the incident to their commanders on Monday, July 27, when it occurred. The police told Citi News, "We are investigating a video on social media in which a person in an apparent civilian dress is seen brandishing an object which appears to be a pistol in the face of a police officer, with soldiers apparently calming tensions." I've seen the video. It's terrible. It looks like some vigilante guy feeling excessively empowered and is attacking, or I think the policeman in question is I think the personal police of the MP for the Asawasi area.
So this is how the Chronicle
you know this area
the story.
very well. Yes.
So the Chronicle says that the bodyguard of the Member of Parliament for Asawasi and Minority Chief Whip, Mohammed Muntaka Mubarak, nearly shot a certain Boyo, a known member of Delta Force, a vigilante group who claims to be an operative of national security. The Chronicle has gathered that tension has been characteristic of the two centres at Baba Kompo at Ababo number 2 since the start of the voters registration. And that when Muntaka was going on his rounds, he realized that there was only one fire officer there, so he asked his personal bodyguard to assist the fire officer. Now, the agent at the center kicked against the idea of the MP's bodyguard complementing the role of the security officer. And according to an eyewitness, the agent prompted the patrolling military personnel to ask the police officer to leave the center, since eligible registrants were being intimidated by the bodyguard's presence, but insisted unless his boss, Muntaka, who assigned him there, asked him to leave, he wouldn't leave.
That's what led to the scuffle.
Yes, so according to the report, while the military officer was trying to convince the policeman to leave the scene, one Boyo, a known member of the defunct Delta Force, appeared on the scene with his identity as a national security personnel and ordered the police officer to leave, threatening to shoot him if he dared resist his orders. A nasty situation following the scuffle was prevented when the MP eventually ordered his bodyguard to leave the scene.
Now, guys, there's a couple of things here. So there's also the voter region minister didn't storm Ketu South military personnel, according to the MCE, still on registration issues. The CEO of Ketu South Municipal Assembly, Elliot Edem Agbenou, claims that the voter regional minister Archibald Lecha visited the municipality on Wednesday in the company of dozens of military officers to intimidate registrants in the ongoing registration exercise are false. Speaking on Eyewitness News, he said Mr. Lecha was instead in the company of some top security officials within the municipality and some members of the Regional Security Council.
All right, let's end on a bit of good news from my end, at least,
Okay.
before we go
I
back
actually
to
have
Kojo.
more bad news.
I will
Oh
give
gosh,
you
There's another video
Yes.
we wanted to discuss from yesterday
Yes,
from
yes,
the
Galamsey.
Western region where an MCE is literally threatening anybody who wants to stop their Galamsey business. And he basically says guns are made for people.
Yes,
And that
I saw
if you
that.
mess around, you will be shot.
You'll be shot.
I don't have the translation of that, but it will be aired during the show itself. So
Okay.
you give me your good news.
I'll
before
give you
Kojo
our good
comes to
news
spoil
before
it
we go
again.
back. All right. Ghana sustains gains in malaria prevention as prevalence declines.
Okay.
So the 2019 Ghana Malaria Indicator Survey, released in Accra on Tuesday, shows that malaria prevalence among children has declined over time, but other areas for improvement remain in prevention. This is in the Daily Statesman.
Okay.
The new document highlighted a continuous reduction in malaria prevalence among children aged between 6 and 59 months.
All
So
right.
basically 6 months to 5 years.
Yes.
Where the incidence, according to microscopy data among children of this age group, declined from 27% in 2014
Okay.
to 14% in 2019. That's
Fantastic.
almost half. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. However, it was more than 3 times higher among rural children
Oh Lord.
than the 6% among urban children.
Multidimensional poverty.
Multidimensional poverty. So we can read more about this, but yes, we'll probably link it to our discussion on
Well,
poverty later.
not to reduce what you said we've got a good number for malaria. In COVID-19, 7 more Ghanaians have lost their lives. 736 more have been tested positive. This pushes the country's total death to 175 out of a cumulative case count of 35,000. Kojo, I predicted to you 3 weeks ago that by end of this month we would have about 36,000 cases using I called it the doubling rate of 25 days, and it's exactly what we have, 35,142 from the figure we had
Yeah.
earlier in July. So
Okay.
the disease, although of course the number of serious cases is not that high, we still have to be worried.
Okay, so the front page of the Times, Supreme Court strikes out Domelevo case. And then the Chronicle also has the board chair asking, is Domelevo a baby? We are fed up with him.
Charlie.
So those two stories. So the Times says that the Supreme Court has struck out Daniel Domelevo, the Auditor General, currently on leave, and Johnson Ekuamoisiedu, the Acting Auditor General, as defendants in a writ challenging the President's directive for the Auditor General to proceed on leave.
Yes.
USA-based Ghanaian constitutional lawyer Professor Koku Asare sued the Attorney General and joined the two as defendants over President Akufo-Addo's directive to the Auditor General to proceed on leave.
All right.
Professor Asare wants the Apex Court to hold that the directive of the President was unconstitutional and must be reversed.
The board chairman says Domelevo is overdoing it. Now,
yes.
let me give you something fun. I know you'll be interested in this. So, Congress grilled the 4 CEOs, the big 4, I call them Google, Amazon, Apple, Facebook. Now, CNN analysis is that of the tech titans, some fared better than others in the first hours of the hearing. We'll tell you more during tech and social media trends. Who said what during the grilling of the 4 CEOs?
I was just looking at their net worth.
Lord, that's
And
like
the billions, the hundreds of billions that Jeff Bezos is worth,
4 men.
then the 80-something billion that Mark Zuckerberg. Oh, we need what to be 11.8 billion, right? For the
CDs,
media, the
that's
media
like $2 billion.
budget.
Anyway, thank you,
Exactly.
Kokui. Thank you, Kojo.
You're welcome.
Coming up
Bye.
next is the Citi Business News. Stay with us.